Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself. There.
Hey, Omar, thank you for having me back as always. Love being here, love doing this thing, love trading these movies back and forth. One guy's seen them, the other one hasn't, is how things normally go. But we are still inside of the Mission Impossible takeover. That's right, it won't end, it won't ever end, but maybe it will with one more.
Maybe.
That's right, we're doing Mission Impossible. We are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mission Impossible 5. Mission
enough.
Impossible Rogue Nation. Ethan and his team take on their most impossible mission yet. 5 movies in. Most impossible mission yet.
Oh my goodness.
Ethan and his team take on their most impossible mission yet when they have to eradicate an international rogue organization as highly skilled as they are and committed to destroying the IMF. So it's an evil IMF. That's what we're proposing for this film. It is the first Mission Impossible of what will become 4 Mission Impossible movies written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie, and it stars Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson, and Jeremy Renner, as well as many others that we'll break down at some point. All right, Omari. We're coming we're coming to the end.
Yeah. Expectations are a Mission Impossible movie, but this time, like with the title like Rogue Nation and me not reading the synopsis, I'm expecting like some shit goes horribly sour and like a country gets overthrown or something, and we gotta take back the country. Maybe even America, maybe some other like small third world country, because that's how we do things in movies. But we gotta infiltrate this rogue nation and overthrow them to save the world or some shit. Technology goes down and we gotta find some like underground way to do it. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Aside from that, I'm expecting everything else we get from a Mission Impossible movie.
Let's try and list some things. What are our tropes?
Masks,
Masks.
computers.
Computers.
Okay, specifically
Raise
like
the bar a couple notches.
specifically stuff like hacking a satellite or hacking a
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
betrayal. Gotta have the
Betrayal.
betrayal. Ethan being blamed for something and becoming an enemy of the government. That's gotta
Pretty
happen.
often. Pretty often. May not be
got-
every single movie, but most of them.
But yeah. And if I haven't said a MacGuffin, there's a MacGuffin.
Usually, almost always a MacGuffin. Um, I would
Also,
say
Ving
maybe
Rhames.
adding in there, you need
A
um
girl,
often unrealized sexual tension between Ethan and a random woman.
a girl,
Uh,
and Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames, even if you gotta wait till right before the credits. Oh, and then, I mean, what becomes pretty important towards the end, you got, all right, we got Tom Cruise run scene.
We
That's
gotta
another
have
one.
that. But yeah, become pretty important.
Stunts.
Stunts,
We're in the age of
yes.
stunt Mission Impossible at this point.
Also very true. I think we've been in the age of stunt Mission Impossible. They just get more and more ridiculous. Like, I from two, like you can argue what you want with one, and two was probably in a lot more controlled environments, but John
Two
Woo
still has
doing
that
his
knife.
things. Yeah.
That I don't even know if we hit it.
You mentioned the knife, I believe.
Okay. The knife moment when it
Right to
comes
the
towards his
eye.
eye.
Yeah,
completely
you said it's
real
like a
setup shot.
wire, like
Yeah.
with a specific length.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, no,
Tom Cruise's eyeball. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. So
yeah. So
it's a movie of stunts.
yes, yeah. So the stunts, you gotta have the stunts in a Mission Impossible movie, and yeah. So that's what I was expecting. Pretty much, we got what we got. I did not expect everyone from the previous movie to return because we had seen 6 and 7 before all of
Right.
this, and I didn't think I remembered Hawkeye being in those. So, or Jeremy Renner for the people who are like, respect the actor and his
But
name.
the film prior does imply like he's going to continue with that team
Yes,
at the end of the
but
film. They are, I mean, but Jeremy Renner is the only one who carries over. Just as
yeah,
part of your argument, it's reasonable to suspect that they wouldn't, but also they teased that they would, and then only Jeremy Renner carried over.
yeah, the girl didn't carry over. Um, and there was another guy, right? The helicopter dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't come back either. Oh no, that helicopter guy was three, was it? Jesus. Yeah,
I
helicopter guy was three. Benji stayed. Benji and the girl left. Benji and Hawk and Jeremy Renner stayed.
okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was thinking, I was also thinking that we had somebody else in the mix there with that team, but yeah, it was just that crew.
yeah. Paula Patton, that's her name.
Paula Patton. Yep.
Yes. She did not stick around. But here we are getting into the movie. I was expecting I've come to expect Russia or Russia adjacent countries to be involved. Just because in a lot of them that is the case. However, not this time. We start with Belarus and Minsk. And
Russian adjacent.
all right. So we start with a Russian adjacent country because we always start with a Russia adjacent country. Belarus, but we don't stick there long at all. The way this movie kicks off, the package, get on the plane, but then just immediately I'm like, oh, we're right into it. Like, where's Ethan at? I'm running to jump onto the plane as it takes off into the sky. Wait, what the fuck? Cool little opening mission and all the little like shenanigans. We see that, like I said, Hawkeye's back. We also have help from Luther, and like, okay, he's actually going to be a bigger part of this movie. He's not going to be held to the end. Um, I don't know why Luther's one of my favorite side characters. Aside from, I guess I'm just a big Ving Rhames fan, but
I
I
mean,
like
he's
Luther.
he's he's often the audience surrogate to
Yeah,
just be able to be there to go, what the fuck? Or like, something that kind of attitude at times.
yeah,
So yeah, that's
yeah.
it's easy to like Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames because they're often
The
the audience,
everyman idea.
the audience surrogate who's sitting there going, what? What? When Ethan Hunt is doing his Ethan Hunt things. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, yeah,
Hopping
hanging,
onto the plane, hanging off of it as it's taking off. Fucking
yeah, immediate like the second this movie opens, it's like we're gonna give you one of the top two stunts in Mission Impossible so far. Like it's probably this one and the
and
Burj Khalifa thing.
so he actually was hanging off of a taking off plane.
What do you think we're watching, Amari?
Hey,
What were these 7 hours even for?
I highly suspected he was, but there was like another stunt where I thought it was, and it's like, oh no, this one was in a controlled environment. Oh, okay. So it could have still been, but it's like,
Pretty
yeah,
much, if it's forward,
he's
if
doing
you
the
see it
thing.
on the camera, it's happening. They might be painting out control wiring and shit. Like he's wearing a secret harness that has some wiring attached to the
Mhm.
plane or
Or
something like
like some
that
magnets or
beyond.
some shit.
He's not just holding by his own physical grip. But that is Tom Cruise dangling off of the side of a plane that's taking off.
Yeah. I'm not, it makes sense. And then his dumbass, when he gets in the plane, like, obviously controlled environment, but I could also see his dumbass just risking it. Just fucking like the door opens and he like flies into the thing and bounces off the wall. But I love the thing when the guy comes back to look at him and he's like looking around, everything's fine, and then he just hears Tom breathing. Tom looks at him, and then in cue with the opening theme, as he leaves the plane with the fucking parachute. I'm like, all right, that's a cool way to open the fucking movie.
Yep.
Um, so I did like that, the theme and everything. And then we just cut to something that I feel like is a few days prior, but it's not, where he's talking to some girl, giving a bunch of code language. I've watched enough of the movies to understand they were talking in code, and probably he's gonna get his next mission. But yeah, this, like I said, and like we've stated about these movies, they're just go.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
ready,
that
let's
was the
happen.
end of the last mission.
Yeah.
That whole plane thing. That was just a thing to get us into this movie fucking rolling.
Yeah, because
And
he goes, the weapon you took was so and so, so and so. Oh shit, that wasn't the. No, we're not gonna find out how we set that up. That's over with.
yeah,
The IMF highly suspects the syndicate exists, and they're right, motherfucker. Wait, what? Wait, what the fuck is going on? This movie's just going. And so we get the whole gas scene and dude with glasses, and I'm
yeah,
like,
that's a I mean, right off the jump of this movie, Ethan Hunt is on the back foot, which is a little different. And it's also like he's bested.
yeah, he's captured in
Like they could
everything.
have killed him. That could have been poisonous gas just
I
as
was
easily as
surprised
it
they
was
didn't, but
knockout.
we need a
Well, then you
movie.
don't have a movie. Yeah.
But we need a movie. But just, I guess the idea of why wouldn't they?
Right.
But I think they throw it away in a, or not throw it away, but it's a line. It's like a one or two lines where it seems like they were gonna try to recruit him or something, or they were gonna try to break him and make him join. But old Bone Doctor's like, he's a fighter. He would rather die than break. And we see Ilsa for the first time. Hello, Ilsa. We'll be seeing more of you in the later movies until we stop. Um, but yeah. So,
Good to
but
see
I
Ilsa. Love Ilsa's character. I mean, she's yeah, she's without question the most badass female that's in the universe, and she's she's pretty dope doing it. Does a great job.
really cool scene with her breaking him out and all of that. Obviously, I've seen enough people climb poles to know that this was all Tom, him powering up the pole and
Uh-huh.
jumping off. I'm like,
Still
yeah,
incredibly
very
impressive, dude.
impressive. I'm never doing that shit, but he did it. That was cool. Um, but you get a lot of mystery right off the bat. It's like, okay, why did she help him and then just immediately turn around? And even Tom's like, we we never met, right? You're just helping me for no reason. And yeah, we see Alec Baldwin talking about he wanting to break up the syndicate, oh, break up the IMF because he doesn't like them and he thinks they're a bunch of crazies. And
He's the
so
new
I
senator
and
on
so
in
I
town
clearly
that's gonna do XYZ or whatever.
and
Yeah.
so I clearly thought he was the actual head of the syndicate, and he's trying to get
As these
him off
movies
his
go, you would
case.
be fair. That would be an incredibly fair and probably accurate assumption.
I'm like, okay, so this guy's the head of the syndicate with the way he's acting. What? The syndicate couldn't possibly exist. We gotta get rid of the IMF. They're terrible for everything. I look at the worst side of everything. I don't care if they saved the world 80,000 times and have never betrayed us once. And even
Right.
the
Like in that press conference, he's like, these people allowed a missile to hit this building and then fall. It could have killed some people. And then Jared Redder's like, it was a nuclear bomb that we stopped from exploding. Like,
it's like it didn't pop off. It was deactivated. What do you have to say about this? I'm not at liberty to discuss any confirms or deny any details without the word of the senator. And Jeremy Renner, I said it last movie, I'll say it this movie. You know why you hire Jeremy Renner. It's to deliver lines and banter like he does.
Right, that like dry, smart assy,
Yeah,
but he's not like I'm not saying anything to where if you wrote it down and took me to court, but like the way I'm saying it is like
exactly. So he's still eating that roll up the way that he does. But yeah, I'm suspecting Baldwin from the get-go. Um, I was wondering when Tom was escaping from the people and they were shooting at him down the hallway. I'm like, guys, he's got no shirt on and he's running in a straight line. You didn't hit his ass once.
I mean, that's another trope that we could have listed at the beginning of this film is in so many, which is the case in so many action films, the bad guys are always terrible shots.
But what I will give them is when he was in the booth, finding out the IMF got dissolved or whatever for the umpteenth time.
Hmm.
Um, these things happen.
He's selling a gunshot wound, isn't
He's
he?
selling a gunshot wound.
I thought that
So
too,
they
but
hit
then
him
they don't address it. But then
anymore.
again, it is like because you like I mean, what a great moment when Jeremy Renner's like, "Sir, you're not going to be able to find him. He's a ghost." Blah 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 blah. And Alec Baldwin's like, "Mark my words." That man was experiencing his last free
Yeah.
day, and
Yeah.
then it immediately jumps to
He's
a
like
title
set your
card.
yeah, he's like set your clock. Ethan Hunt is living his last free day as his last day as a free man.
6 months later.
Like you ain't catching that boy, Ethan.
Yeah.
And Alec has a cool monologue later in the movie where he's like glazing the fuck out of Ethan uh when he's talking to the British dude. But
No.
what are you talking about? He's inadvertently glazing him, but he's glazing
Well,
him.
he's talking to Ethan.
But the British dude, yeah, fair. He thinks he's talking to the British dude.
Yeah. It was at that
No,
point.
he was talking to the Prime Minister,
No, when he was extra glazing Ethan, it was before Ethan had revealed himself.
but he was talking to the Prime Minister.
Oh, I thought you originally you said the British dude or the British. Did you say
Is it
Prime
not?
Minister
I
originally?
said the British dude
Who
who
is
is the
also the
Prime
guy that Ethan
Minister.
Hunt was impersonating. So I thought you were
Well,
talking
yeah,
about
they're both British.
right, but yeah,
So there we go.
yeah.
Yes.
I hate you.
What? Okay. I also like when you first corrected me, I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, no. He was talking to a British guy. It's just the Prime Minister. Anyway, that's later. So they obviously the CIA thinks they caught him, and he just lets them know, nah, I'm on to something. I got away. Whatever. I'm Ethan Hunt. Y'all can't catch me.
It probably intentionally leaves all of that for the CIA to have,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
they can be working with Ethan.
Exactly. We get Benji, find out that he's been taking polygraph tests every week, and just right after his umpteenth time having to lie about knowing Ethan, gets summoned to Venice, not Venice, uh, but to European country.
Austria?
The Prime Minister of Austria shows up, but I'm not sure if it is Austria. But
I think yeah, I think it might be Austria.
okay, so let's say Austria. So he gets summoned to Austria and to go to the opera. And we get a cool little thing with the
Vienna, which is in
Vienna,
Austria,
which is in Austria. Fair
I
enough.
think.
No, that makes sense. Vienna sausages. Uh
Yeah, it's in Austria. Vienna sausages, Austria.
Wiener Schnitzel and all of that,
That's German.
which it shares a language with Austria. Damn it, they're all it's all we're all one big people, humanity. All right, it's all a big hodgepodge melting pot, Earth. Um, yes. So opera scene, cool little stuff going on there. Benji gets talked into helping him. We get our little infiltrations and first little shots of things.
Our
Um,
second cool Ilsa scene.
yeah,
Like, I mean, like, come on, like the shot of her kicking her leg out of her dress slit so it can be the like anchor for her sniper shot is, I mean, it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful shot. It's
yes,
awesome.
very much so. I dig that scene. I dig the whole little setup with the gunshots and stuff. I was wondering if they were doing it to frame Ethan for shooting the Prime Minister, but apparently that wasn't the case. They were just there to do it. But in the
Yeah,
moment, I
it's
was
just
like,
it's they don't go deep into it, but suppose it's they're supposedly making like just precise things that like kind of like butterfly effect
yeah, to kind of take
create
society down.
larger chaos in society thing.
Yeah,
So this
smaller
might just be
ripples.
either they have a direct thing against that guy, or it's just like we need a country of this level's
Hmm.
leader to die right now. And
Exactly.
then it's
As
just
part of
dart
our
on the board,
scheme.
Australian prime or Austria prime minister.
Yeah, mate. Um, so yeah, Tom does the smart.
The play with the
The
fight scene playing with the different levels
I
behind the
do
theater, that's
I
pretty
love
cool.
that with the fighting. Yes, like you said, with the raising of the platforms and Tom jumping like from platform to platform fighting the guy. I love the
Benji being the one inadvertently the cause of it.
shut up. But yeah, him beating on the wall. That was cool. Fucking, I like the woodwind instrument. Oh, not woodwind, but the brass instrument gun.
Oh yeah, was it wasn't it a flute?
I'm not sure if
Wasn't
it
it a
was a
flute
flute.
gun?
I feel like it had like a little curved part, but it wasn't quite a saxophone either.
Well, some flutes have a very curvy,
Part?
fingery bit.
Mm, maybe. Maybe it was a flute.
I think one of the things coming out
Yeah,
of the flute can sometimes be very grandiose
fair. I was thinking
as
like
it's
at the
hooking
end
back
of the
towards the
pipe,
flute. Okay.
but it very well could have been a flute gun. And like you said, there might have been like an extension that you
If
could
it's
put
not a
on the
flute,
flute.
I don't know my instruments well enough because
Neither do
it
I.
wasn't like
Yeah,
clarinet
that's what I'm
or
saying. Flute
like
is
what's a
probably the
sousaphone
best
look
guess.
like?
Too big.
Okay. Yeah.
As someone who played sousaphone for all of 2 weeks,
Oh,
sousaphone
that's
would have
like
been
tuba
way too
level?
big. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's like tuba level and like even bigger. And I don't know why I chose it. I know why I chose it. It was cheap, and I felt bad for saying I wanted to play an instrument when we were poor. So I picked the
How
cheapest one
dare
in the
you?
book. I have a very supportive mother who was like, "If this is your dream, I'm gonna support it." Um, but yeah, bottom line is, I like that weapon, and I like Tom's idea of shooting the guy to try to make him run, which ruins the other assassination attempts, or so we think. Because as Ilsa and Tom escape, which little cool thing of that, I know how to get out of here. Let's that tension you talk about, that unrequited tension between these two throughout the entire fucking movie. Um, they go out and escape, and then the fucking minister still explodes and dies. And it's like, well, shit. But old girl is like, yeah, I still need to go back to the bad guys. Wait, what? Who are you? I still don't understand what the fuck's going on. Yeah, you know where to find me. Here you go. You took my lipstick and everything. You'll track me down. Bye. Jumping out the car now. The fuck? Who are you? What are you doing? What is your play? What is this? So, and knowing the future movies that she's an ally of his, I'm just wondering if she's on his side the entire time because she seems like it. She seemed like she saved him for no reason, but also she could be doing a play for this movie and he turns her because he's Tom Cruise and
Right.
the
At the
power
end
of
of the
boners.
movie, he like hands her something and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, if you ever wanna like what we see teased at the final movie chronologically that we watched.
Yeah, where he's
Uh
like, go find Kissinger and tell him that, not Kissinger, Pittsburgh.
whatever.
Yeah, find
Soup.
that guy, find that guy and tell him you accept the choice. So I thought it'd be something like that, but still unsure how they were going to play the movie. But they don't give us too much time to think about it because we immediately find out, all right, this device tells us where we need to go next to meet up with her, where she lives. And meanwhile, she goes to Solomon, who we find out later is his name, but she goes to Glasses Man and he's like, you didn't kill him. No, but I have a trap set up for him where he's going to find me because I let him find me. Cool. Now kill him. Like pretty much every time is why didn't you kill him? Because I could use him. All right, meet him and kill him. You didn't kill him, but I had plans for it. All right, find him and kill him. So they meet her at her house. We get that little cool scene where she reveals the guy's name, and we find out it has something to do with British intelligence, this whole syndicate setup. That Solomon's a former British intelligence guy, and he's trying to make his syndicate a rogue nation, if you will, of a bunch of presumed dead operatives who have been betrayed or disavowed by their countries. And so they say, fuck the world, we're going to screw everything over. But for that, we need money. And how do we get money? Well, we got to infiltrate a place that's impossible to infiltrate because that's what we do. And we don't even have the whole team this time. We just have Benji and Ethan and Ilsa, but we still don't know if we can really trust Ilsa. And the
Hmm.
way they dictate a lot of the mission planning, it seems like it's just Benji and Tom doing all the work. Uh,
Yeah.
but we get that sneaking mission with the breathing and the swimming. And what's his name has to go through a hallway that measures your gait as you walk because this is the Mission Impossible universe, and they're like, we can't just trust facial scans. People got these magic masks in this universe, so we need to like study people's walking patterns, and if it ain't right, just kill them. So we got to go underwater, put a thing in the thing while swimming, to make sure we upload Simon Pegg's walk pattern so that he doesn't die while he goes to get this secret file. Which brings us to the waters part itself, which, let me tell you something. I'm never going to be an agent anyway, but even if I was, just make me the computer guy. I can't do
Well,
the
nobody else
underwater
was doing
stuff.
this either except for Ethan Hunt. That's why Ilsa was like, this isn't even an option.
Yeah,
And Ethan was like, done.
it needs to be done. I'm doing it. I'm
Hmm.
Ethan fucking Hunt.
And obviously, Tom Cruise actually does it. I mean, it should be gone without said without happening. But there's several long take one shots in this film
Of
where
him
he is actually
underwater.
underwater, actually holding his breath, like he studied the science of it and how it works and what to do and actually spent a long fucking time underwater.
Yeah, so even as an actor, I don't think I can do that because yeah, I just I have a lot of oh no, he's putting his secrets out there. I don't like being underwater. I'll say it. I don't like being underwater. It's not a happy place for me. So no, I'm not doing that. Unless, unless I have like some huge multi-million dollar contingency, which he may have. He is Tom Cruise. Life insurance out the ass. So maybe. But
Who are you gonna give it to?
I have family.
No, you don't. You're an IMF agent.
I'm an IMF agent. I meant, well, Ethan Hunt obviously doesn't give a fuck. I said Tom Cruise, the actor that has to do that.
Right.
But yeah, no, cool scene. They got lucky as fuck because with him getting knocked around underwater and the keys getting mixed up, there's no way he knew which one was
Yeah,
which
he basically
when
had
he
to
put that
guess.
in there. And it just so happened to be the one that was perfect for Benji, like right when he was walking through. And then meanwhile, Hunt is also fucking lucky as hell because what's her name jumps in to save him because he would have just drowned and died.
Hmm.
And we get her betraying us again because of course she does. I'm
After
Benji.
saving his life.
Yeah, she saved his life, but he brings the like thingy. Like I brought the thing. Damn, motherfucker. Now I'm leaving. Wait, what? What the hell is going on here? So obviously, that meanwhile, fucking Brent Hawkeye recruits Luther to go after Ethan because the CIA wants to shoot to kill because he was in the same place where the Austrian prime minister got exploded. So now they just really believe it's him versus the world. We got to bring him in and we got to bring him in dead. And Brent doesn't want that. So he's got Luther to help find him and they're doing it by tracking the woman. So here we are. They're in the city that they last know her to be in. And as they're driving down the street, fucking motorcycles come out, and then just fucking Ethan and Benji in a car pull up right next to him. Well, we found him. And then we get our obligatory car chase because I feel like that's in every movie, damn near.
Yep.
Um, cool scene, cool shots there. I like the turning sideways to like kill two of the motorcycles in the like alleyway that time. A lot of other cool shots, and of course, we can't just end the car chase with the fucking car doing a multi backflip down some fucking stairs into a parking lot. No, we gotta then get on the motorcycle and chase after her with a motorcycle chase. Where all of these international criminals who are top of the top agents that had to be disavowed are all wearing helmets and gear. But Tom Cruise, no, 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 no gear, no helmet, just awesomeness. He's riding his motorcycle down the hall, down the highway, barely dodging cars, while the other people just crash into him and die. Cool shit, cool shots all around. These movies, you know how they work. And then
I
it
read
was
something that said that not only has Tom Cruise done his own stunts in this film, but there are also moments where he is doing other people's stunts because, quote, the stunt coordinator, there was nobody better to do it. He was like Tom Cruise is literally my best stunt car driver.
I love the Tom Cruise mythos.
It
I really do. It's great.
would be
Um,
like, wouldn't it be hilarious if we find out that it was just all this incredibly well crafted, orchestrated lie?
it would be, but it would also be highly disappointing because it's just after so many times, it's like, okay, I can't help but like have some admiration, even if it's America in 2025. Everyone's gonna disappoint you if you look at them close enough.
Yeah, man.
But
Chuck Norris jokes aren't fun anymore.
I just thought people stopped telling them, but I believe you. Um, But like that's what I'm saying. It's like even if that turns out to be true, I want to at least believe in the mythos at least right now. I don't have to be like, oh, that's my favorite actor because he ain't. But I'd really like me some Tom Cruise movies.
Oh yeah, yeah, and there and like I think I've already talked about it in other episodes we've done on Mission Impossible. there's the whole Scientology aspect of Tom Cruise that is incredibly shady and weird as fuck. And like on its surface, with nothing evil possibly going on, really, really fucking weird as fuck. But delve deeper could be really fucking weird as fuck. But yeah, this is one of those situations where it's not a blanket rule for me of art separate art from artist.
Yeah.
In this aspect, I'm able to do it, but also it's just because Scientology hides their shit so well, so we don't know what could possibly be lurking.
Yeah. Indeed. So, but yeah, I like the mythos of Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
and I will believe that as long as that it's like it's like believing in the wrestling character versus the actual person. I kind of just consider it that way. Um, that said,
It'd
we
be an
get
incredibly it would it would be one of the it's like the moon landing of like so many people would have to be in on the lie at this point
yeah,
that it's just like, I don't know. And like all of his co-stars always talk about it when I mean he's been kind of open about it in the interviews for this recent film where he almost doesn't even look at himself or think of himself as a person, as a human being. He thinks of himself as a machine that makes movies. Like and like because he looks at his body of like this thing makes movies. How do I how do I tune this thing to make movies better? And like that's how he looks at his life. And he is there's only reports of the hardest working man in the business, the first one to show up, the last one to leave. Uh,
hmm
Constant, always reports, always stories of him learning and knowing every name on the set, from his second co-star to the guy that grabs the bagels in the morning. Um, uh, uh, and a consummate professional when making movies, and then inspiring on the stunt side of things is all I've ever heard from co-stars. Is just glowing accolades from his work. So I can't. I think the mythos is real. I
yeah,
I believe the Tom Cruise the actor movie mythos.
yeah,
Like you were saying, you never want to focus too much on anybody's person because
yeah,
people will betray you. People
yes.
will ruin things for you. But
But you know who won't betray you?
Ethan
Ethan
Hunt.
Hunt. Exactly. Ethan Hunt. No matter how many times they tell you he will, Ethan Hunt won't betray you.
He'll be there for you.
Exactly. And yeah, so girl gets away, and we find out that she's working with MI5 or whatever the British intelligence agency is. Um, and but she's disavowed, much like Tom and crew are. And she's been trying to deal with this Solomon guy to earn her freedom back. But shady British dudes like, no, go back one more time. Are you fucking kidding me? I've betrayed him 80,000 times. He's gotta be on to me by now. Go back. British. And it's like, okay, I'll go back. And Solomon's like, you didn't kill him. No, I didn't kill him. But, we could use him. Good. You're going to meet him again and kill him. Like, that's pretty much his whole point of his conversations with her is I don't trust you, but I'm still going to keep using you, despite me clearly not trusting you. And
Because he thinks he's Ethan Hunt and he thinks that he's 12 steps of it. Like I think the movie is trying to paint that he is telling Ilsa continuously to go kill him, but that he actually knows every time that she won't do that and she'll actually do
yeah, what he
whatever.
wants her to do.
Um, but he's not Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt is Ethan Hunt. And even if you think you're 6 steps ahead, Ethan's 8.
Yeah. And but we see like what they want us to believe is some self-doubt because Hawkeye or Jeremy Renner is like, dude, what? Okay, so this thing needs to be unlocked by the British Prime Minister. We gotta alert the British authorities because we can't let your grudge match against this guy who keeps beating you get in the way of world safety. And Ethan's like, do you really think that's what this is? That I can't beat him? And he kind of plays it as, okay, maybe he is a little crazy and he thinks that, this is getting personal. Like, I gotta beat this guy. But they set up the whole thing. We see him make the call to old dude about betraying him. But something about it, I guess it's because it's the second movie with this motherfucker in it. I don't fully buy that that's not part of their plan. They even throw in the little extra scene where he walks in and they're like, "You okay?" "No, I'm not okay. But we gotta do what we gotta do to protect our friends, right?" Which they're just trying to tell you he actually is betraying, but he's betraying them for their own good type
Hmm.
deal. And they keep playing it up. We see Alec Baldwin show up. We're like, we're gonna meet with Atlee and we're gonna learn some things. And the second they like meet with Atlee, I go ahead and go, and they're like, we're gonna go to the back room. I'm like, Ethan's Atlee. Ethan's definitely Atlee. There's no way that like I was more convinced than ever that yeah, he didn't actually betray the group. They just wanted Hunley to think so. And sure enough, they get him to spill the beans. British people made up the syndicate, at Lee's order.
Turns out British people are the villains of this movie.
Yeah, the British. We sending our relationship back to the American Revolution, to quote Alec Baldwin. And yeah, and Alec Baldwin really is like, wait, there is a syndicate? He's like, wait, this shit's real?
Not only is it real, but we created it.
Yeah, they're just spilling the beans like it's nothing. They're like, yeah, this is what's talking. It's stupid to do. Blah blah blah.
Well, it's because the prime minister's pissed. He's like, this was just a theory of a paper, an idea on paper that I immediately said no to. What do you mean this is real?
And they get him to admit everything, and then they drug him to think that Huntley saved his life from the real Atlee who comes in the room. It was brilliantly done, and they're like, and then they get Huntley to agree with it. They're like, so yeah, you saved him. This is the gun you did it with, right? Yeah. Okay, this makes sense. Because if I try to argue against any of this, it's not gonna work. And they did all this stuff with the prime minister because Benji got kidnapped. Probably an important part to mention in the
Right.
story. But we get to like the climax after the reveal. We get to fucking Benji sitting at the like table with a bunch of bombs on him as Tom like calls the dude up and is like talking to him and he's like, "You're gonna let my buddy go because I destroyed the hard drive. But before I did, I memorized every fucking account your 2.5 billion pounds is going into. And I'm the only person on the person who knows it. So the only person on the person, the only person on the world who knows it. And so if you don't tell me what the fuck I want to know, or you don't let my
Super
buddy
cocky
go, we're
in
gonna die."
typical Ethan Hunt move. Super cocky, bold ass move. Straight up gives him $50 million to prove that he has memorized everything. Like, you just gave a supervillain $50 million. I know he's looking for like 200 billion or whatever, but
That's a
you just gave him
lot.
50 million.
That
He
he
could do
did.
something with that.
Yeah. He could go buy like, yeah.
But
He
Ethan
knew shit
knows
though.
what the end that's what I was referring specifically to this scene because he's like the villain's like I always knew we were gonna end here from the start. I've always been planning for it to end in this moment right here, just like this. And Ethan was like, "So have I, bitch."
Yeah.
Like,
This is the only way this can happen. I think that was the other thing that convinced me that Hawkeye wasn't going to actually betray him when he did the phone call because he did that right before the phone call. He looked at him like, look, this is the only way we're going to get this done. So I'm gonna go ahead and call and betray you. But yeah, we get that last second, disarming of the bomb, and then the chase scene with him and Ilsa like firing on people. Really cool shit. Till he finally gets chased by Solomon into a fucking random room, dodging the bullet down into a hole. Guy's like, ha ha ha, I'm chasing you, Ethan. Jumps
the,
in.
I love that the climax of this film is tricking the bad guy into a box and just closing all the sides. Like literally, that's the end of this movie. Is Ethan Hunt tricks the bad guy into jumping into his own cage.
And it's great because they show you them making the cage. You don't know what they're making, but they're like, we gotta hurry up and get there.
Right. They don't explain it at all. But yeah, they're working on something.
Yeah. And they perfectly trap him in a cage, just like Ethan was at the beginning of the movie. And he's like, meet the IMF. Fuck you, nigga. And then fucking puts him in gas. And well, maybe he doesn't say that, paraphrasing, but knocks him
No,
out.
I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise says the N-word in this film.
But they gas him out, put him in the fucking police truck, and yeah, they ship him out and fucking kind of just shake hands. Ilsa's like, I'm free now. You know where to find me. Deuces. Drives away. Fucking Alec Baldwin now has to go to the fucking committee and be like, yeah, so I'm gonna need the IMF to keep existing. I fucked up, but I fucked up on purpose. You see, I had to make it seem like we were breaking it up so the syndicate guard would be down so that we could catch him. And what do you say about this, Jeremy Renner? I am not at liberty to confirm or deny anything without the word of the senator. All right. Okay, I see what y'all are doing. Yeah, movie fucking ends. And that's Mission Impossible 5. Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation. All right, Omari,
Uh,
let's throw it up here. So I have six at my top, three, four. I'm going to put this one just below four, and then I'm going to go original, Dead Reckoning Part One, and then two.
okay. So, I think we've stated on the previous things that the reason I have 6 rated as low as I do is because of time and recency bias. And I don't remember enough of it. It would probably change if I watch this off stream to re-watch it. But at the moment, I have 7, 3, 4. I think we both have those in common as our top 3. And then I think I have this one, then 216. I at one point I had 2 pretty high up there because I really do like the John Woo-ness of 2
Yeah.
from an entertainment aspect, but from a movie aspect, from an acting aspect, and everything, I gotta give the other movies
We've
the
we've
props that
talked
they've gotten.
about we've talked
Yeah.
about on this channel ad nauseum of how you and I both enjoy the camp that can be an 80s or 90s film sometimes
Yeah, the
when they
product of their times, the
right.
products of their time.
And Mission Impossible 2 is without question a product of its time.
Yeah. And so that's why I have it not ranked at the bottom. But who knows? I'll probably go back and watch 6 and 7 at this point just to reevaluate them with the context of having seen the other movies. But we don't need
Hmm.
to do episodes on that. What we can do eventually, though, because it's in theaters, we can do 8.
Yes. Yeah, let's go ahead and do 8 next week.
All right, let's do 8 next week. The
That'll end the
final
Mission
reckoning.
Impossible takeover. We've done them. We'll have done them all. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Crazy.
it's been a crazy ride. Hopefully, it can end on a fantastic note as the rest of them have been. You want to see everything else? Go ahead, check them out on the channel. You can check out the whole Mission Impossible series as well as 3 years worth of other content with us. And that's just the movie related content with This Guy Hasn't Seen that comes out on Tuesdays. On Saturdays, we've got You Don't Watch Sports, 2 guys, 3 topics, help you sprinkle a little information to your casual sports conversation. Be a guiding light through the sea of casual sports talk. Occasionally we got mock draft. Even more rarely we have whatever we want whenever it happens with Super Jazz. And we also,
Super Jazz.
thank you very much, as nature intended. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming Earth Day 240. CEO was a couple weeks ago. So I was playing a lot of fighting games. I might be playing other stuff now. We'll see. Check it out. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks?
No.
All right. Well, guys, we'll see you next week with the final reckoning. Adiosness.